Okay, so I should probably start now. I don't even know if I'm in the frame, so I'm just gonna hope that I am. This is Mr. Kim, the man, the myth, the legend at Stevenson. Everyone knows who he is. He's the head math team coach. And I remember last year, like in my Calc VC class, everyone was just like, "Oh, PK's teaching Calc 3. We love PK. We love PK." I've never even like seen this man before, and I've heard of who like PK is. So definitely a celebrity around these parts of town. So we're just gonna. I have like a bunch of questions here about you.
It's
and
a very
Matt.
small town. It's a
Yeah.
super small town where he's popular.
And I'm just gonna ask a bunch of questions.
I'm
So
excited.
the first question is like math in your early life. So I'm thinking like elementary, middle school. Like what was like, were you just like, I don't know, just super drawn into math at a young age, or were you like not really into it? Like what?
Sure.
Talk a little bit about that.
So, let's start with I was born in Chicago.
Okay.
My parents met in Chicago. We went to CPS. We're in the CPS system. But Korean Americans thought the CPS system is no bueno, so they put me in this little school. It was like a private Christian school where nobody was good at math. We were the only Asian people, me and my brother, in this school, but we must have been okay. At some point, they had me test into some other thing. And eventually, we just moved into the burbs because they thought the burbs is where it's at. Kind of like why people move to Stevenson.
Sure.
Your parents think that Stevenson School is good. Krishna's parents think Stevenson is good, so they moved out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we went into Skokie. I don't know. I just did school because that's what you're supposed to do. I didn't think it was, not an arrogant, I just didn't think it was that difficult.
Sure.
It wasn't that difficult. Not that I was amazing at it, but you just kind of, I don't know. I just pay attention and it seemed to work out.
So there wasn't like, I don't know, you read all the time where it's like, when Albert Einstein was 3 years old, he was playing with like an abacus or whatever you call those things and was like discovering truth. So there wasn't like an initial sort of curiosity in like 6-year-old PK.
No way, no, because there was no exposure for that.
Sure.
Nobody around me spoke great English, from my parents
Sure.
and cousins, my family in that way. I just kind of did school and it was okay. I had older cousins. Most went to U of I, which was great. It probably, to speed this up a little bit, I ended up going to Northwestern as a math major, and that was probably the first time, like, oh my goodness, this guy is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never did math competitions because I just wasn't looking for it. But in Northwestern, you look around and everyone's like, hey, how did you do on this test or that test? Are you doing the Putnam? Like, this whole new vocabulary. I just thought, no, I'm just doing okay in math because I'm not pushing for it.
Okay.
1997 is my freshman year in college. I'm old. So the Internet of Things is just starting up. And yeah, I just liked to play video games and hang out. And then I realized, wow, people are really pressing.
Yeah, okay, so it seems to me that like kind of inspired by other people almost, just seeing, especially like I guess when you go to a college, you're a math major at Northwestern, fantastic school filled with brilliant people, I guess all that brilliancy around you kind of like sort of motivated you to...
Right, so maybe that's part of the exposure, which is why I like Stevenson, because there are parents who are doctors, there are parents who are lawyers, there are parents who are doing research, and so it just seems more available. Mm-hmm. Maybe I was just naive. I didn't see that around me. But, go to university and again, I wasn't even thinking about college probably until my senior year. Like, I probably should apply to a few places, and that's just how it was.
Okay.
So yeah, I would like to say every year I'm getting better at math, even still, sure. and that's probably more the reality.
Yeah. And I guess my next question for you, and you kind of were answering it, and it's like when did you get into math? Was there a moment where you realized like, wow, because it seems to me in class you're super like fascinated by math. At least that's how you come off. Like you explain things as if you're super interested yourself. And I feel like you don't see a lot of that passion in teachers. Like they're not always super enthusiastic about the subject. So what was that sort of thing for you that was like, wow, math is really beautiful? Whether it be like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely cleaner, especially in the beginning. Everything is clean. And that's why most people, you talk to adults like, oh, I like math. There's only one answer. but you realize the way you get to the answer is so varied,
Sure.
and the efficiency, like that's actually pretty cool. I started doing math team my second year or third year at Stevenson, and that's another just another turbo that people are hitting. Like, whoa, the way that they're storing information, packing information, like slipping through and getting quickly to answers is just kind of wild.
Mhm.
So it probably, maybe it's more authentic feeling because I'm right now like, wow, that is really cool. I'm
Mhm.
learning it. I'm like, wow, how did you do
Sure.
that so
Yeah.
fast? It is fascinating.
Yeah. Okay.
I can also sit, in the sand and just like stare at sand in my hand. I'm just really simple. I just like simple things.
Yeah, and that's really admirable. So talk about like, so you went to high school, and when you were a senior, like how would you describe senior year, like 17, 18-year-old PK? Like what kind of a kid were you? Were you like super, I don't know, you talked about, video games and hanging out, but were there other like, I don't know, parts like you were super into
Sure.
sports or super into art?
Sure.
I don't know. I'm just gonna also make sure this is recorded.
Yeah.
Sometimes my phone.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Oh, yeah, we're good,
Okay.
we're good. So let me see if I shares. Okay, I don't know if I'm in there. But yeah,
Well,
continue.
I don't know, people hung out in our basement to play games and hang out. I played some volleyball. I coached volleyball for a
Yeah.
long time, but it was never like super serious. I never played club because that's just not our circle. We didn't do, like, what do you call this? Like little league. Like, there's no
Yeah.
money for little league. I would
Sure.
just go to the park and play janky basketball. Like, it was very natural and just very homey. I don't know. It was just simple.
Do you think like you've changed since, like, I mean, obviously you've changed, but like do you think at your core, like your personality now, where I would describe you as a very like curious, super, I almost want to say playful, like you're very fun and like you're very, but you're also very like reserved and very
Yeah.
even keeled. Like, do you think that is how you would describe yourself as
Yeah.
a senior in high school?
I
don't
think
know.
there's some quote that says, every time you speak, you recreate yourself. And I think that's just a great quote. So there's definitely core things about my character that I think are consistent. I've got a kid. And again, I would say for her, there's something that she did pre 6 months that I still see, just the way that you operate. So I know there are things that I like. I like the beginning of figuring things out, and I'm more reckless than accurate is probably consistent, where I'm just gonna break things and try to see if this is how it works, because how bad is it gonna get? You're not, things aren't going to blow up in my face. So I like playing with things and just assuming that I'm gonna figure things out.
All right. So I guess my next question is then, so you went to Northwestern and you were a math major. So is this like pure math, or is this like math education, or like what? Is it just like?
So yeah, it was just math major. I don't know if there's like really a distinction about applied math,
don't
pure
know.
math.
Yeah.
Those like adjectives more so like based on the types of courses you take.
Yeah.
But
so were you going into college with the intent of becoming a teacher? I guess that's what I'm kind of asking.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, with the intent of teaching.
And
I would say again,
inspired?
because the one professional, and I might have said this in open house, the one professional in our family was a math teacher.
Okay.
And so like, oh yeah, that's what you can do. I'm pretty good at math. I like helping out kids. I'm gonna teach math. It seems like what's
Sure.
available. No regrets or anything, but I have this feeling if she was a math professor, it's more likely I'd be a math professor because that's just what I see was available.
Sure.
I mentioned in your class today, my wife works in poverty issues, and she'll
Yes.
say all the time in certain communities, like, oh, my uncle's a plumber, I'm going to be a plumber, because that's what it is, making it in life.
Yes.
So it's circumstantial. It seems not very cool, but there's these Warren Buffett
Sure.
interviews as well. It's like, if I was born 200 years earlier, I'm worthless, but because of where Warren Buffett was born and how the market, and that he was born in America, like these are the circumstances around me, and now Warren Buffett was for many years like the richest man alive. It's circumstances around me that have shaped a lot of the decisions.
Sure.
The woman that I have married, it's just, she happened to be in this college and I happened to be in this college, and It's just the environment that
yeah,
you're in.
that's very
So,
reasonable,
you know,
yeah.
for you, that 5 people that Christian says are watching, man, I appreciate Stevenson because it seems more things are available. You know,
Yeah.
you travel, you go out of the country, like, wow, the world has gotten smaller. You see
Yes.
people that are professional pursuing PhDs. That's crazy, but it's available and you
Yes.
see a pathway for that.
All right. So now in college, like you don't have to talk too much about this, but what was like your hardest class? Was there like a class,
Sure.
whether it be math or
Yeah.
whatever, like that was just like, oh my goodness, so difficult.
I don't know why, but I think my lowest score, worst grade was in some jazz class where they would play 3 seconds of a song and you're supposed to know what song it is. And studying was you just listen to music all the time.
Wow.
And you have to be able to identify like, oh yeah, that's totally Billie Holiday in this track.
Oh.
I just like music at a low level. I took that class, but some other people are taking that class. That was very difficult.
Yeah.
It's not
I was
that
expecting,
useful.
I was expecting a math class, but
but you know, I did this in your class, not the other classes, where just storaging tone is
Yes,
fascinating.
yes,
Or
yes.
if we take that clock and mark off seconds, like here it is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we empty, and I say, let's all clap at 50.
oh,
You know?
yeah.
And now you have to like hold that tempo, and then you'll hear in the room just clap, clap, clap. You know, it's like cascades. Just idea of holding time, holding like pitch.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
I like that idea of just how the brain interacts and holding information. I did take a discrete math early on, maybe like my sophomore, maybe freshman year.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That's like more of like a CSE sort of thing. Like a
No,
lot.
discrete math it just seems like a survey course of just random theorems and topics.
Wait, is that like the class where you do like Boolean algebra, or is that?
There might be a little bit of that
am I
too.
just thinking?
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't know. I just remember it being like random topics and a lot of theorems,
Okay.
and it maybe because it was more preview. It was the first time like, what is going on? And I remember sitting in class and looking around like, oh yeah, I have to be the worst at this. I remember going to a professor and saying, I don't even know how to ask you a question right now. I'm just so bad. But I like that experience. It's probably I just didn't put in the grind, and that's what it is. That too I learned. You just gotta. There's nothing magic. People that are good at things, they just have to put in more time. And if it was easy, if it was hard, they put in more time. They put in less time, but they just made it. They just worked it.
Yeah.
They overworked their problem.
Sure. So now I want to talk a bit about you as like a teacher. So like you like have a very interesting teaching style.
Okay.
And I guess maybe I won't name names, but this is like what I've heard as like Calc 3 students talking about you. It's like, you know, I asked them out of curiosity, like, oh, what do you think of like Mr. Kim? Like, how is he as a teacher? Because I think he's a fantastic teacher. And they'll say, you know what? He's super smart. He has all these analogies and all these sort of like, you know, amazing like sort of analogies. And I think like today, like Marcel was saying, like he has like all these brilliant analogies. Like I'll go to like in classes, like I remember Veer was like explaining how to do like a surface integral, and he was literally using like you're just counting up all the stickers like on the surface, and like he said it with such seriousness. I laughed because it's like imagine explaining that to someone who doesn't have Mr. Kim, they'd be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So like you have like a very like what is your teaching like philosophy? Like how do you approach teaching?
I think if ideas live siloed, they're going to die. The idea is more valuable when you can find it connected to other people. And I think of it, I'm making an analogy about this, like at the beginning of the year, who's Krishna? Like I'm just memorizing, and that's okay. That's Krishna. Krishna sits over there. But if Krishna was in the hallway, I can't identify him because he's not entangled with other things that I know about him. But once Miss Ruda, who's no longer Miss Ruda, I forget her last name, like, oh yeah, Krishna, he's in physics class. Okay, now I have another like strand, this little string that connects Krishna to other people. Oh, you also know Tanav? Oh, now I know Krishna knows Tanav. Krishna's also in my first hour class. Krishna makes videos. Like now that I have this node of Krishna that's like multiple, that exists in different places, I understand him a little bit more. Like it's even for me as a person, me as a teacher, as a parent, as a husband, It's when I can see that interaction that I get a better sense of the whole landscape. So when I teach things, I want it to be pervasive, because you don't know. I feel like I don't know things well unless I can put it somewhere else and know how it would behave. You know,
Okay.
if you put me, I don't know, just put me on a basketball court, or put me in a science classroom, and put me in, I don't know, in front of a drum set. Like, I just want to put myself in different location. I have a better sense of who you are, what's immutably you. In all these places, he behaves the same, but in this environment, he behaves differently. I feel like math does a good job with that. It generalizes, it puts ideas in various places, and you're supposed to understand the behavior of it. So that's why I make analogies, because I don't force it. It's just my brain is just trying to find something like it, and I'm gonna glue onto it. And now everything that I know about this domain B, which I've connected, this new idea, like, oh, I immediately get all of that. I feel like if I can make good connections to one idea, then I could do my world building a lot faster. If this makes sense.
And I think that's like that's such a, I don't know, that's like how I feel too. Like, I feel like that's so good. Like when today Marcel was talking about, like, oh yeah, for multiple integrals, like, you always, like, I think the hardest part is like making the floor plan. Like, he literally used that word floor plan, right?
Yeah.
That's obviously something you like said about like the floor plan and like that sort of thing. And I feel like that's really good that people can hold on to these analogies and hold them a little bit longer. Like, if you, like, I don't know, like, if you take out of our class like 3 kids and then give them like the AP Calc BC Unit 7 summative on Maclaurin series, like they probably would not do as hard, because like they never, like, they just understood it for a little bit, and then like they just vanished. Like, they just never like held on to it with like a good deep understanding.
But if that thing's connected to other things, then I hold on to it by like different strands.
And I think you've talked about, like, you don't want to teach Calc 3, you want to teach like frameworking or something. Like, the idea of, like, you know, maybe down the line you can connect back like something you're doing to multivariable calculus. So I think that's pretty strong. So you teach multivariable calculus. I think you also teach Geo, Excel.
Straight up geometry.
Geometry, okay. So that's like, obviously you're working with a lot of like younger kids and like kids who like are not as strong in math, right? To be compared to us. So like, how do you like teach? Is there any differences to how you teach different levels? And then you teach other courses too. Like, are you using analogies in geometry, or are you doing it more like, I guess you can.
I definitely do. I'll wait for this through. There's something where, like, the mind likes narrative, it likes stories, you know. It's almost a memory hack. I can't memorize 20 numbers, but if I say, oh, these are area codes, I just want to put it in something. Something I would say that's different in a geometry class is there's an effort component that you're also teaching. I would like to assume, though it's not always true, okay? Generally, what's true in general is not true in specific cases. You're in multivariable calc, like, I don't have to teach you effort. You want to do well, we can just teach execution. Like, this is how we do it. I assume the effort. In geometry, sometimes the effort is not there. You've just been bludgeoned by math for so long, you don't want to do the math. So, and you know, you're a geometry kid watching this, I do this all the time. I will do just random puzzles. Just logic puzzles or just pictorial puzzles just to rekindle, like, I just want to figure things out, you know? Because geometry is the same thing. I look at images, or I'll say this in English class, like, everyone reads the same book, but Jim over there raises his hand and has this amazing insight. Clara over there raises her hand, like, wow, we read the same words, but you like had this insight and you saw something in the characters. You know, in geometry, we're looking at the same pictures, but you clearly see it differently. Like, you see all the interactions. So yeah, it's the same kind of storytelling, but it's, I think, more catered to just rekindling a desire to be right and inspiring effort with just solving puzzles.
Okay. And last question, because I have to go too. I have a bus to catch. What is your favorite math? So like, for me, like, I would say, like, it is Calc 3 for me, just because of like so much like I don't know. We live in a 3D world. I think
Yeah.
it's worth to study 3D math, and
Yeah.
all the
Oh my
connections to
gosh.
physics. What is your like favorite field, whether it be
Sure.
high school, maybe beyond?
Yeah.
What is it?
There's definitely a recency bias.
Sure.
If you ask what was your favorite meal, it's often going to be something.
Yeah,
recent.
yeah,
So
it's
right now,
true.
I like the calc. It's just so
Yeah.
fun. We finally finished. I'm like, oh man, that was great. I want to run it back. Generally, I like counting because it sounds silly. Counting.
Okay.
But counting is so hard. Just probability questions. It's just readily available.
Yeah.
There's in this room 28 chairs. What's the likelihood that 5 of them are in Jenga? Let's count. The likelihood that 5 are Jenga. And passing out tests.
Mhm.
You're all seated in different places. How many ways can it be that the 4 consecutive tests happen to be from 4 kids in the same group? Just counting. How many ways
yeah.
can this happen?
Yeah.
It makes my brain restless.
Okay. Thank you so much
Sure.
for the interview.
I wish this could be more entertaining, but
no, it's like I'm just gonna stop recording
Yeah.
now.